As a salon or spa owner, cosmetology school gave you the skills to serve clients, but it definitely didn't teach you how to run a business. Somewhere along the way, you probably thought ownership would mean freedom, but instead you're working more hours than ever, barely paying yourself, and low-key worried everything's going to fall apart the second you step away. Welcome to the Beauty Biz Breakdown, where we give you the real strategies, systems, and structure that you need to fully step into the CEO seat in your beauty business. Hey friends, welcome back to the Beauty Biz Breakdown, the go-to podcast for salon and spa owners who are ready to build a more predictable, more profitable beauty business. I'm Bri, and as always, I've got the amazing Chandra here with me today. Hey girl.
Hello, hello. How's it going?
How are you?
I'm good. It's summer. Children are home. So I'm trying to deal with the salon stuff and deal with all these children's schedules. So I'm sure all of you guys can relate. It's super fun.
Yep, it's tough. I don't miss those days. I'm lying. Sometimes I miss those days, but most days I don't miss those days. I kind of like fending for myself, grabbing the grandkids and taking them home when I am ready for a break. So yeah, good luck with that. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, we'll get through it, but crazy.
You will. Okay. So today I want everybody out there just to picture something for just a second. Literally right now, somebody in your town is typing balayage near me or best salon near me or best facial near me. And they're doing that into Google because they are ready to book an appointment, which is awesome, right? The problem is one of your competitors could be showing up above you. And it has nothing to do with them being more talented than you at all. It's because their Google profile is actually built out and it's active. And yours has probably been sitting untouched, maybe since the day you claimed it years and years ago. I was really, really bad at this for a long time. Here's the thing. You never even know that this is happening, which I think is kind of weird. There's no notification that pops up and says, hey, so-and-so almost booked with you, but they ended up picking a different salon down the street instead. It just happens kind of quietly, and it happens over and over and over again, and you never even see it. The reality is people in our industry are obsessed with Instagram and TikTok right now, but those platforms are usually where people discover you. Google is actually where a lot of people go when they're actually trying to make their final decision. So today I want to talk about the stuff that most salon and spa owners skip on their Google profile, the things that actually help people choose your business, and why this one little piece of your online presence might be costing you more clients than you ever even thought of. Chandra, do you think most owners even realize that people are making real booking decisions off of what they see on Google?
No, I don't think that they even think about it, to be honest. Like you said, it's kind of, you claimed it, you said it, you forgot about it.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what happens, right? I didn't realize there was so much work that had to go into this, and it's something that you actually had to update quite frequently until a few years ago. I did that. I set mine, forgot it, and just, hope that it was going to work its magic the way that it's supposed to. But there is so much that goes into it, and it's no different than anything else technically. Like it's constantly updating, things are constantly changing, and so you really have to stay on the ball. I think in the beginning of this conversation, we're going to talk about the obvious stuff, and we're going to get that out of the way first because it's really, really basic. So I just want to make sure that we touch on certain things. This is something that I didn't really know how to do. I did a lot of research into it, and it took me hours and hours and hours, literally weeks and months to figure out kind of how to make it work. So I thought this was a really good conversation. So like I said earlier, a lot of you guys probably claimed your Google profile years ago, and you've barely touched it since. Your hours may be wrong. Your holiday hours might not be listed. Your photos could be really, really old on there. Maybe even from when you first opened. Once again, guilty. That was me. Like my Google pictures didn't even match what my salon looked like anymore. Your booking link might be broken or just missing completely. Your phone number could be outdated. Your website link could be pointing to some crusty page you don't even use anymore. And if your profile still has pictures, or logos from 3 years ago, that's what you need to take care of first. Like that's the common sense first step that you've got to do. Those are the easy things. So you need to look at all of those things. If any of that applies to you when you go through your Google, fix it like today. That will help tremendously. The second that you get finished with this episode, in fact, I think I would go look at it and go check. Chandra, have you updated yours in a while, or is that something that you have somebody else do? Or what is that situation for you?
Yeah, I mean, I have a little bit of both. I have somebody that does help with some of that stuff, but I also have to go in and do things in that profile pretty often, even with having help, because even if you do have someone who helps, you still have to give them the information. And so one way or the other, I still am updating it. I feel like every couple of months. I mean, I have to log in there and change things all the time.
Absolutely. So if you're listening to this, the second you finish this episode, go look at it, or honestly hit pause right now and check it if you need to, because those things matter. And it might help you as you're listening to this episode to kind of hit pause and fix the things that we're talking about. I'm not saying this to be rude to anybody, but a brand new client is trying to figure out if they trust you or not. So these things are really, really important. Sure, maybe they found you on Instagram or on TikTok first, right? Maybe they liked your work and then they decided to Google you before they booked that appointment. But if your profile looks old, if it's half done, or if nothing is like what your business is currently, or if it doesn't match what they're seeing on social media, that is going to be a huge red flag for them. So it's something that you really, really need to think about. That makes people really wonder what the truth is. They wonder which version of the truth they're actually going to get. I was thinking about this episode, and so I started doing a little bit of research on different salons in my area. And that's what I found quite a bit was, oh my gosh, their social media page was freaking phenomenal. They had all of this cool stuff. They looked like experts in their field, like it looked like an amazing culture. And then I started Googling them and I was like, oh yeah, I'm just not so sure about this. This is kind of off topic, but my husband and I are very different when it comes to Google and the way that it works. He takes all of those pictures, those reviews, everything like they are the hard truth. That's it. If there's something that has a bad review, he isn't going there. He's not even thinking about it. I, on the other hand, am a little bit different. Maybe that's because I own a service-based business. And so I know how that can kind of affect things at times. I will give somebody a chance, but obviously I look at it. And if things don't match, it's harder to trust. Chandra, do you feel that way, that it's harder to trust a business when the social media looks one way and the Google profile looks another?
Yeah, I mean, you just think that it makes me sort of think that they're not really on top of their game. You know, when their Google page is not, doesn't match or it's not complete, I feel like you just move on. Like you said, you look for something else because it just feels weird.
Absolutely. And trust is one of the biggest things in the beauty industry. And so if somebody doesn't trust you off the bat, you're going to have an issue. I mean, if I'm looking at spending thousands upon thousands of dollars for getting my hair done, extensions, all the things, I want to make sure somebody looks trustworthy online. That's going to be really, really important. I hear clients complaining all the time that we are charging an arm and a leg for our services. So trust is really going to come into play. So those are kind of the basic things that you need to pay attention to. Now, the bigger things that owners don't really understand about Google is really something that I want to dive into. And I think it's important because there's not a lot out there without going through a million different YouTube videos, figuring it out. So I wanted to kind of go through each and every step with our listeners today, Chandra, and kind of explain it in the most simple way possible, the things that are going to give them the most help when it comes to Google. So when somebody searches for a service near them, Google is basically trying to answer three questions. What does this business actually do? Is this business close enough to the person that's searching? And does this business seem trusted and active enough in order for Google to actually show them, to make them pop up? The middle one, the distance piece, you can't really control that one. It's not like you can pick up your salon and move it across town every time somebody searches from a different neighborhood. I mean, imagine trying to drag those shampoo bowls down the street. Like, that's not going to happen. Google needs you close to somebody for that search to actually work. Okay. If you're not close, it's not going to work. So no control in that area. But the other two pieces, what you do and whether people seem to trust you or not, those are the pieces that you can improve and you can do it consistently. This is where a lot of salon and spa owners are really missing quite a few opportunities that they don't even realize. Your profile, it has to give Google and potential clients very clear clues about what you offer, what you specialize in, where you are, and why people should feel confident in choosing you. If Google cannot clearly understand what you do, and a new client cannot quickly understand why they should trust you or choose you, you are going to make it way easy for that potential client to click on somebody else. And the more a client clicks on another business, the more Google is going to show that business ahead of yours. Chandra, do you think owners forget that new clients, they don't know our cute little salon language yet? And so a lot of times as owners, we're putting things on our Google profile that the client has no idea what we're talking about.
Yeah, I think that happens a lot. I think I don't know, we put the things on there that we're not gearing towards potential clients. It's like we sometimes think about the things maybe that our regular clients know about us. We put that stuff on there because that's what is familiar to us and that's what's fun. But that's not going to drive new business into the salon. It's just going to confuse people, like you said. And I think that the more clear and black and white you can be with that part of your profile, the more you're going to show up and the more people are going to be able to land on your page.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's 100% correct. We also have to think about the wording that we're using too. One of the things that us salon owners and hairstylists are really, really bad about is we talk to other hairstylists a lot of times when we're doing our Google profile, our website, really anything. I am notorious for doing this as well, or I used to be. And so you've got to be really, really sure that you're speaking to that potential client, pretending like they really don't have a clue what you're talking about. So one of the things I want to talk about first is the categories. So when you first set up your Google profile, you probably picked a category really fast and then you kind of never looked at it again. Most of you have something probably generic like beauty salon chosen. That category is actually one of the biggest things telling Google what your business actually is. So if you are a lash studio, a nail salon, a waxing studio, even an extension focused salon, whatever it is, your category, it needs to actually match what your business is and what you want to be found for. So you really have to keep that in mind. Now, this doesn't mean you are going to go and click every single category under the sun because you think it's going to give you more traffic. Don't be weird. Don't do that. It's not going to work for you. We are making the truth clearer, not trying to catfish Google. That's not what we want to do, okay? And when you push a bunch of different categories, that's kind of what you're doing. You're saying you're a jack of all trades, and then everything gets confused. So if you're a lash studio, don't try to hide behind some vague category if there's something more accurate that is going to work for you. You need to go look at your category and you need to ask yourself, does this even match what I want to be known for? You can't be known for everything. When you try to market yourself to everyone, you end up marketing to no one. It's no different when you are choosing your category on Google. Chandra, do you think most owners even know what category their profile is using right now?
No, and I think that they probably just, like you said, just click on whatever looks good instead of actually searching, because you can search for other categories. So if we're actually searching for a category that makes sense, and then if you do put in 500 categories, you confuse the algorithm and then the internet doesn't know what the heck you're trying to do, right? And so I think it's really important that you're very specific, like you said, and I think that they don't know. They're just like, oh, I got to set up this page. Cool. I'm done. I click this. Sounds right.
Absolutely. I think it's a really small thing that matters a whole lot. It's kind of boring until you realize that your category could be telling Google the wrong thing about your business. And then you're like, oh crap, I've got to get this fixed like ASAP. The next piece is your service list. And this is an area where I see a lot of people mess up. This one drives me nuts, honestly, because so many beauty businesses list services like the world's most basic price sheet. You have a haircut, you have color, you have facial lashes, just simple little words. The problem with that is most people are not typing color into a Google search. They are typing balayage, they're typing blonding, they're typing dimensional color. They are searching for hand-tied extensions, Brazilian blowouts, maybe even bridal hair. They're searching for the actual words. You have to remember that. So if your profile only says color, you are making Google guess and you're making that client work harder than they should ever have to. So you've got to spell things out that you actually want to get booked for. Think about that. And again, this doesn't mean overstuffing your profile with every service you have ever heard of since beauty school. That's not what you want to do. You have to keep it real. Use the services that you actually offer and the services that you want to be booked for more often. This is what we do now. It is like our top 4 or 5 services is what we really focus on. Chandra, I feel like this is such a simple fix, but owners miss it because they assume Google just kind of knows what they mean. I think salon owners are notorious for things like this. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. And I think that in their thought process, they're thinking if I put every single thing I have on there, then I'm going to be able to, show that I do all of these things to everyone. But it doesn't show them that. Like you said, if somebody's searching a specific thing and you just have hair color listed, you're not even going to come up in that search. And so it really does make a huge difference. And you don't need to put every single thing that you offer in there. It's just too much.
Absolutely. And once again, the verbiage matters. Verbiage matters here. When we are talking in hairstylist language, we know what we mean. Our team knows what we mean. Our regular clients, they might know what we mean, but new people, they don't always know. And confused people, they're not always out there asking questions. A lot of times what they do, they get confused and they leave because they don't want to feel dumb and they don't want to waste their time. And so you've got to be careful how you are putting those service lists on there. So that is my challenge to you. Pick the 5 services that you want to get booked more often and use those exact words when you are doing this. Chandra, can you think of anything else that you would say on the service list side?
No, I think it's just simplify it. Make it, like you said, what do you want to market the most? What do you like doing the most? Or what is your team the best at? Put those things on there because you don't need to have every single thing listed. Half the time people list stuff that they don't even really like to do. And so don't put those things on there. Just put the things you want to grow.
Absolutely. Okay, now let's talk about reviews because this is where a lot of owners can start using Google so much better. You don't realize what the reviews can do. Most owners know that they need reviews for their business. It's not new. It's not some, crazy strategy. Nobody's going to fall out of their chair right now because I said, hey, Google reviews matter for your business. It's not going to happen. It's not a groundbreaking strategy at all. But reviews are not just there to make you feel good because somebody said you were amazing. They actually help Google and future clients understand what people are coming to you for when they are done correctly. A salon with fresh reviews that mention things like blonding or extensions or facials or bridal work, that salon is going to look more relevant for those searches than a salon with 100 reviews that all just say, great place, loved it. That's not going to do you any good, right? You need to start getting reviews that are going to help people picture their results. It's going to help them trust your service. It gives Google more language connected to your business. So that doesn't mean that you need to call clients and tell them, hey, we need reviews, and this is exactly what I want you to say. You don't write the review for them either. That's not okay. You don't want to tell them word for word what to say is what I'm trying to say. You have to kind of lead the conversation in what you're doing in a very diplomatic way. So after a good appointment, your team can simply say something like, I am so glad that you love your color. If you have a second later today, a Google review would mean so much to us. And if you feel comfortable mentioning the service that you came in for, that's going to help other clients know what to expect. A really simple way to do that, right? Simple, not desperate, easy, and clients will actually do that. This is going to help you tremendously on Google. Chandra, do you think asking the client to hand a review over that way feels different than just saying, can you leave us a review?
Oh yeah, no, because you're making it feel more personalized and you're making it more, I don't know, important to the client, I guess, because then they feel like they're helping you out and they're doing something good for the salon because they're happy with their service. And so I think asking that way is fine. I think it's an awesome way to do it. And I think it feels more comfortable to the stylist to ask it that way than to just say, leave me reviews. Like that doesn't feel like personal at all. It just kind of it's cold, but I think doing it that way is definitely a warmer way. And I think you'll get way more reviews.
Yeah. And I think we have to think of it this way. When clients are in our salon, we are directing and guiding the client throughout the entire process. It's no different when you're asking for a review in that type of way. You're not putting words in their mouth. You are just giving them a little bit of direction. And that matters because if you want reviews that actually help future clients, the client needs to know what kind of details are going to be helpful for them to say. This is the part I really wanted to get into today, your review responses. Okay. This one for me is really, really important. In fact, when I was going through different salons in my area, I was looking at some of those responses and I was like, oh my gosh, which in turn made me go down a rabbit hole and start looking at some of my responses, especially from a long time ago. So most of you out there are responding with something like, thank you so much for your kind words. We appreciate you. And listen, it's sweet. I get it. But it's doing absolutely nothing for you. Nothing at all. Yes, you're responding. That's great, but it's not doing anything. Every single review reply is basically a free shot to tell Google and every future client exactly what you do and exactly where you are. Listen to that very carefully. So instead of just saying thank you, you need to start saying something like, you know what? It was a pleasure taking care of you here at our salon in Fort Worth near the Clear Fork area. We're so glad that you loved your balayage. You just hit the service, the city, and the neighborhood, and it still sounds completely normal, like an actual person wrote it. It's important to do that. You do not realize how much that's going to help you. Don't get weird with this, guys. You don't have to get weird. Don't write something like, thank you for visiting our Fort Worth balayage blonding extension salon near Clear Fork. That sounds like a freaking commercial. It's insane and it reads like a robot wrote it. It has to sound like you. It has to sound like you're talking to a real person. All you want to do is you want to mention the service, mention the area, and keep it human. That is so much stronger than the same copy and paste thank you on every single review. Chandra, be honest. Have you ever caught yourself typing that same basic thank you back to every review just because it was faster?
Oh yeah, totally. And I have other people in the salon sometimes that are designated to do that. And I've got like 100 scripts for them. And even sometimes when they do, I'll catch it and I'm like, wait, what was this? that didn't even make sense. And so, yeah, for sure. It's easy. It's easy just to put something out there or to have the autoresponder. I know some people do that. And that also doesn't always feel personal at all. People can tell, I think, when they know it's coming from a bot or if it's a human.
Yeah. And honestly, I didn't realize how important this was when you're writing these reviews. This is kind of an upgrade or an update that Google made a couple of years ago. And I'm going to be honest, I wasn't really aware of it until I started doing a lot of this research. But you have to mention that service, the area, the neighborhood, all of those things, because every time you do that, your business is going to get higher and higher and higher on the list when somebody's searching. You're right. It's super simple to do that. Copy and paste, generic type, thank you, but that's not what we're doing anymore. Okay, now let's talk about if you get a bad review, right? Same thing. Keep it human, but keep it professional. Don't argue in the review section. Do not share private client details. Do not write a 14-paragraph court document defending yourself, even though I know sometimes you want to. Trust me, I do too. Don't do it. I know you have screenshots. I know you have the receipts. I know the front desk saw the whole thing. Still, no, just don't do it. Okay? Don't do it. Stay calm, stay professional, invite them to maybe reach out privately so that you can discuss this. Just remember that response that you are giving, it's not really for the person who left that bad review. It is for every future client who is going to read it later. The person that you are responding to, they're already over it. They're already ticked off. They don't give a crap anymore. But those potential clients, those new clients that are looking at that, that is going to say a lot about who you are as an owner or as a stylist. Chandra, do you think future clients really pay attention to how a business responds when something goes wrong?
Yeah, I think they definitely do. And I think like you said, if you type some crazy long rebuttal as to like what actually happened, I think people see that and you look kind of crazy. And I think that they don't want to come there. You don't have to prove your point online. Like it, you just don't. And I think people start getting so personal and defensive. And so, yeah, I mean, I did it once and I was like, this was stupid. I mean, years ago. And I was like, I look like the crazy person because people see, even when someone leaves a bad review and people are reading all your reviews, if you have mostly good reviews and you just have one off bad one here and there, people see through that. They know you're not going to please everybody 100% of the time. But like you said, your response is what's going to matter. So if you sound crazy in the response, then that they're going to just shut it down and not come in.
Yeah, reviews matter. The responses matter just as much. And when I was going through some of this stuff and I was looking at reviews, I was like, oof, I don't know if I want to deal with that. I wouldn't book there. Like that's not my cup of tea. So they really do affect things. So you got to think about them very, very carefully. Okay. There are a few sections inside the Google profile that most of you have probably never touched. And I want to run through them really quickly because this is where you can make the profile actually feel more complete to somebody who's looking at your business. So the Q&A section is actually one of them. You can add and answer common questions. Things like, do you take new clients? Do you offer consultations? Where should I park? Do you take walk-ins? What should I expect at my first appointment? Do you specialize in blonding? Do you offer bridal? You can answer so many things. If people already ask you this all the time on the phone or in person, answer it where they are already looking, which is on Google. Then there's a product section. So a lot of salon and spa owners skip over this because they think it only matters if they sell products online. But you can use it to show your retail lines, to show featured services, packages, treatment, things that you're doing, whatever makes sense. Think Cune, right? Think a bridal package, think facial series, a lash lift and tint, whatever it is, an extension consultation. It's just one more thing that you are adding to your profile that tells Google and the client what you're actually about. And then there's the attributes section. And this is something that I didn't really know about. It's kind of wild to me because almost nobody fills this out at all. When I was looking at businesses, I was like, I think 1 out of 25 that I looked at actually had this filled out. So depending on your profile, you may be able to mark things like women owned, appointment required, wheelchair accessible, payment options, amenities, things like that. Only mark what is true, obviously, right? We're not lying to the internet today. We are going to tell the truth. So don't overinflate yourself, but make sure you are filling those things out. And then the last thing inside the profile itself is Google Posts. These are little updates that show up right on your listing. I'm not going to sit here and tell you posting exactly 2 times a week at 9 o'clock in the morning is some magic ranking hack on Google because I don't know how it works. I don't know how the algorithm works. I don't want you stressing about a specific number or a specific time like you do on social media, but you have to use these posts. So what I want you to do is post with a purpose. Now booking blonding consultations in Fort Worth. That would be a great post. Bridal hair trials open for fall weddings, things of that nature. You want to point people toward the service that you are wanting to get booked during whatever season it is. Okay. Don't just post things like we're open or we have new hours and call that marketing. These Google posts are a way that you can market and you have to do it with a purpose. So really research that if you're not sure about it. Chandra, between the Q&A, the products, the attributes, and the post, do you think most owners have even looked at all of these areas when they are looking at their Google profile?
No, I don't think so. I think that they just put in the basic stuff and then they move on. I don't think they're thinking about how that stuff actually does make a difference.
And it does. It makes a huge difference. It really, really can affect your business in a very positive way if you will take the time to do a little research and to look through all of it. Nobody's expecting anybody listening to this to become a Google expert overnight. You just need to stop letting the profile sit there half empty when people are already using it to make decisions. It's important. Okay, so before we move on, I just want to remind you of what not to do, even though we kind of mentioned them already, but I want to remind you one more time. Do not keyword stuff your business name. Don't do it. If your business name is Bella Hair Studio, do not change it to Bella Hair Studio, Best Balayage Blonding Hair Extension Salon, Fort Worth, Texas. No, that's not a strategy. It sounds more like a cry for help, honestly. So don't do that. Do not buy reviews. I didn't even know this was possible. Do not do that. Don't offer discounts for reviews or have your team write fake reviews either. Don't do it. Do not create duplicate listings because you want to show up in more cities. I didn't know people did that. They absolutely do. Do not pick categories that are not true. Do not copy and paste the same weird keyword filled response under every review. Okay. Also, do not think some fake geotagging trick is going to make your business pop up closer. This is another thing that I didn't know people did. People do it all the time. It doesn't work. Trying to trick Google, it may feel smart for about 5 seconds, but if it catches up to you, it can actually hurt your profile in a really, really bad way. Chandra, when owners are trying to shortcut things like this, do you feel like it usually creates a bigger mess later on?
For sure. I think, I didn't even know people were doing some of that stuff either. So that's kind of wacky.
Crazy.
But the thing is, I think we don't realize is Google is very smart and it's very intuitive and it knows when you're doing stuff like that. And when you start doing stuff like that, you've kind of made a bad reputation for yourself with the platform. And then when you want to stop and make it right, you can, but it just takes, it's a big mess to clean up because now Google doesn't like you anymore and it doesn't want to push your stuff anywhere. So now you have to really kind of reprove to the platform that you are legitimate business and they are trustworthy and all of those things. So, I mean, don't do that stuff. I think that's crazy because you definitely are hurting yourself more than you're helping, for sure.
Exactly. The goal is not to trick Google. The entire goal is to make your business easier to understand. What do you do? Where are you located? And what are you known for? Do people trust you? Is the information current? Can people easily take the next step? Those are the things that matter. Here's the part that gets me. You can have the most talented team, like in your entire city. Your salon can be absolutely gorgeous. Your guest experience can be incredible. You can be doing everything right once the client actually walks in. But if they never find you, or if they find you and your profile does not give them enough confidence to keep going, they may never get far enough to know any of those things. Sometimes they're just choosing the business that made the decision easier and that had their Google profile set up the right way. So for those of you out there that want to get your Google profile working better for your business, here's what we want you to do literally this week. It's 4 simple steps. And honestly, I would hope that every person listening would do this. I actually went through it and did it with my business. So step 1, audit the first impression. Pull up your Google business profile like you are a brand new client. Check your category, the hours, the booking link, the phone number, the website link, photos, and the overall feel of your profile. And then ask yourself, would I trust this business? Would I know what they specialize in? Would I know how to book? That one's really important. Step 2, clean up that freaking service menu. Update your services with the real names that people are actually searching for. Not the names you have in your salon, names that people are actually searching for. Step 3, go look at your last 10 reviews and see if anybody has mentioned the service that they came in for. Rewrite your review response so it includes the service, your city, your area, if you're allowed to do that. Sometimes you can go in and edit those, sometimes you can't. Step number 4, add 3 to 5 questions to your Q&A. Pretty simple. Fill out your products and your attributes if you haven't already. I can't talk today. We're going to go with it. And then post 1 update this week pointed at a service that you want to book this week specifically. That's it. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't make a 47 tab spreadsheet and then never actually fix anything. Just make your profile clear, or at least clearer than it was yesterday. Like, it's really simple. Chandra, when owners pull up their own profile, like a stranger would, do they usually catch things that they had no idea that they were missing?
I think so. I think, sometimes they start to realize what it looks like from that perspective instead of from what they're thinking that they should look like. Because it's not about what you think, it's about what you actually do. And I think that's where people get lost sometimes. So I do think when they pull it up, they start realizing, "Oh, I don't have any of these things. Maybe that's why I never show up on Google."
Yeah, 100%. And these guys, these things that we're talking about, these are the basic things on your Google profile. We're actually going to have a part 2 to this episode, and it goes way more in depth on how Google works with your CRM system, with your website, with all of those things. But you have to get these things fixed first if you want all of the other things to correlate and work together moving forward. All right, before we wrap up today's episode, we're going to shift gears for a minute and jump into our listener question. Today's question came from a salon owner in Cedar Park, Texas, who asked, my team keeps saying they want more education, but when I provide training, half the time they don't show up, or they show up and they never actually implement it. How do I handle this? Chandra, what you got?
I mean, I just think like you have to make it be sort of mandatory in a way. Like, this is part of what we do. This is who we are. We're better than everybody else. We want to be better. We want to do better. And I just feel like you have to create that sort of culture in your salon. I mean, we just make it mandatory in my salon because we have a certain amount they have to attend every year because we want them to not be that hairstylist that's like stuck in the 80s 20 years ago doing the exact same thing over and over again. So, I mean, for me, it just has to be instilled in your team that this is part of what we do and part of who we are. And unfortunately, sometimes you have to make things be mandatory to get people to do what you want them to do.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. And I think it's important. I will say one thing that I did in my studio was I allowed my team to vote on the education classes that we were going to be doing, because here's what happens a lot of times. They want education. We provide it as salon owners, but we provide what we think they need or what we think they want to learn. And I promise you this, if you will give them a little bit of say so in what classes they're taking, it really can change things. So sure, maybe you're having 7 classes a year, let's say. Maybe you vote on 4 of them, and then you, the salon owner, picks 3 that you know is going to benefit the business in a really big way, right? But it's got to be give and take a lot more than it was back in the day. And your team needs a little bit of a say so. So I agree with Chandra, make it mandatory, but also give them a say so sometimes, because you know what that's like. Like, I can sit in a class that I don't want to go to and I'm going to learn, but I'm not going to enjoy it as much. If it's something that I'm really interested in, I'm going to pour all of my time, energy, and focus into that and really come back gung ho and ready to share that with everybody I've learned. So that's my 2 cents worth. All right, guys, fixing your Google profile. It's not glamorous. It's not super exciting, but I promise you this, it matters. People are already searching and they are already looking for the services that you offer. That's the reality. Your profile, it's either making it easier for them to choose you, or it's making that decision harder. And when it's harder, they're going to go somewhere else. It's just how it is. So before you spend another week stressing over what to post on TikTok or on Instagram, go look at your Google profile like a stranger would. See what they would see, fix what's confusing, fix what's missing. Just make it easier for the right clients to understand what you do and how they can book with you. And just so you know, fixing this, like I said earlier, this is step 1. I promise you, there is actually a whole nother side to this. Google isn't only looking at your profile, it's looking at everything else that is connected to your business. We're going to get into that in next week's episode, so make sure that you join us for that one. I promise you, getting these things right will increase new clients in your business without spending money on marketing. And if you want to, once you get it set up correctly, you can spend some money on Google. It's usually pretty cheap and it works pretty well. So if you're in a position where you know you need help in your beauty business, maybe with your numbers, with your team, maybe how the whole business is actually running, make sure that you check out everything we have on our website, thebeautybizagency.com. We have some amazing free resources. We have some coaching options. Check those out, or book a free strategy call with our team. We can help you figure out what your next step should be. If this episode helped you, share it with another salon or spa owner who needs to hear it. And if you have a free second, please leave us a 5-star review. It really does help other beauty pros find our show. Also, you've got to make sure that you're subscribed so you don't miss out on any of the cool stuff we have coming up. Chandra, how do they do that?
Make sure you're following us on all social media platforms at the Beauty Biz Agency on Facebook and Instagram, and the Beauty Biz Mentors on TikTok. Shoot us a message. Anything that you want to hear us talk about on the air, we love to, answer questions for you guys too. So definitely stay in touch.
Absolutely. That's a wrap on today's episode of the Beauty Biz Breakdown. Until next time, stop avoiding the little things that are quietly costing you business, handle what needs your attention, and make the kind of decisions the CEO version of you would be proud of. Now go out there, make bank, run the show, and ditch that chair. And as always, keep slaying those business goals with a whole lot of swagger. If this episode lit a fire under you, don't just walk away and let it die out. Deep down, you already know where you want your business and your life to go. And the truth is, the only thing standing between where you are and where you want to be is a real plan to get you there. That's exactly what we help you build. So if you're ready to stop trying to figure it out on your own, head to thebeautybizagency.com and book your free strategy call. That call can give you the clarity that you've been needing and a real plan to move your business forward. Because at the end of the day, the only thing standing between you and the salon business you've been dreaming about is whether or not you're willing to take the action and the steps in order to build it.